This episode of 4Tims in our podcast is brought to you by Football Prizes. Football Prizes is a great partner of ours that helps us keep costs covered, and they give you a great chance to win some fantastic football prizes, as you might have guessed by the name, giving away some great signed stuff from Celtic players. You've had Larson framed top, Kyogo signed top, and a few other things. The current offer they've got on is the chance to win a signed Celtic football plus a signed Celtic top. The ball's signed by the full current first team squad, and the top is this year's home top, and it's signed by the boss, Ange Postecoglou. So if you want to help support the podcast, then go to footballprizes.co.uk and look for that prize. One great thing we've got going is that we've got a wee discount code, so if you're buying that, use the code 4Tims10, so it's 4Tims, all letters, and then the number 10. That will get you 10% off your tickets as well and support us at the same time. But thanks to everybody that's bought so far, and thanks to Football Prizes for partnering with us. It's been great so far, but we'll just get right into the episode. So you join us on Monday the 27th of December. Hope you all had a nice Christmas and are currently hungover after yesterday's game. It's been a week since we've been on. We've been sort of up and down. We've had fans taken away from stadiums again. We've had Celtic drop points at Mirren, but then we bounced back yesterday at St Johnstone with a 3-1 win. It was Leal Abada with a double, and Near Beaton completed the victory with the third goal in that game, or the third Celtic goal in that game, I should say. It was a very depleted Celtic squad, Tony. I think I seen somebody on Twitter who made a list of the players, and we were missing 18 all in. That's just a mixture of injuries, and I don't know if it's COVID related or that, but it was a lot of your first team players like Joe Hart, Greg Taylor, Cal McGregor, and Ralston, among many, many others, as I'm sure listeners will know. So I think after Wednesday night, a few people were concerned about how we would get on yesterday, but the first half especially, I thought Celtic played very well, and those who did make it to Perth done themselves proud.
I thought we were excellent in the first half. I think that's credit to the manager, that every player at the club seems to understand their role when they do get drafted in. You've seen it against Betis as well, where it was a kind of a makeshift side, but they still played the same style as if it was the first team. So I thought we were brilliant for the first half yesterday. I think Abada does excellently for both goals. The first goal, the ball in for Juranovic is excellent. The keeper, who was actually really good for St Johnstone, made a good save, and then Abada actually manages to still get the ball in the net, which is brilliant. Tom Rogic, great player. His pass for Abada for the second is spot on, and at 2-0 you really think it could be whatever we wanted it to be. Obviously it was unfortunate Kyogo pulled up, but Anne just says it's nothing severe and it won't keep him out, which is fantastic news getting into the second part of the season. But I thought in the second half we did drop off a bit, and I thought Starfelt, I thought his pass that then led to their goal was ridiculous, really stupid. He really needs to work on cutting out these silly mistakes, because it's very frustrating. And then Beaton seals the win with a very good finish. So overall happy with the game. Obviously Wednesday was a massive disappointment. I think there was a lot of overreaction after Wednesday's game, and we were missing some amount of players, and I mean guys like Mikey Johnson playing who I really just don't think are going to be good enough to play for us. I think it's been proven, which is unfortunate. But he wasn't the only one. The team as a whole weren't great. McGregor had a great chance, which he should have buried. But I think, and I'm sure we'll touch on a kind of the season to date at the halfway stage. But overall, I've been happy with the season so far, and I was really happy to just get the 3 points and get the winter break started as of today.
Yep, and as Tony said, it's sort of that'll be our last game this year, and as I mentioned, also there was a few players who didn't make it. Well, more than a few, and Kyogo, as was mentioned, pulled up, but Ange says it was sort of precaution, and they wanted to give him a go, and as soon as they felt something, they took him off. So hopefully that's nothing too serious. But what did you make of yesterday's game? There was sort of a few standout performances, but also a few standouts when the team was announced. Guys like Barkas back in the team, James McCarthy back in the team as well. I don't know about you, but I actually thought, I know you've got quite a low opinion of James McCarthy's Celtic career so far, but I thought he was very good in the first half. I thought it was pretty much all about the place in the first half, and his tackling and passing was pretty good and set up the first goal. What did you make of yesterday's game, and just was there anybody else that caught your eye?
I think for the most part, as Tony said, the first 45 minutes was pretty good by any standards. I think the team as a whole played really well. Obviously, there was, again, a lot of players sort of playing out of position with Welsh in at right back and Juranovic. Well, there was a bit of three at the back at stages as well, to be fair, but Juranovic was sort of right wing back with Scales left back as well for periods. There was a few sort of changes to how we played. And then Furuhashi getting half injured, but I thought how we sort of performed in the first half was really impressive. All things considered, I just said if any team missing 18 players, then it's going to be struggling. But I thought that, to their credit, there was a lot of massive performances. Abada, brilliant. He's just shown again that he's so much potential in him as well. But you're getting a fantastic return for a boy that's so young, so early in his career. Sort of first big move, and things like that. You're getting such a great return for him already, and he's only going to improve. I'm a massive critic of McCarthy, but I thought he had a good first half, as did Beaton, Rogic, Juranovic. You could probably name them all. In the first half, I thought they were all played really, really well. Barkas didn't really have much today in the way of saves, but I think there was two sort of crossed balls. He came out and sort of commanded his area, took the ball in really well, and then again, any time he was asked to sort of play it for the back and play with his feet, he done well enough. I thought the young boy Dawson that came on, credit to him, done himself absolutely no harm whatsoever. He came on really unlucky not to score actually. I thought that ball was out of the line. I was just about my seat, convinced it was in. But he done brilliant. He was working hard. He was coming deep. He was going in behind. He was really sort of doing everything that would have been asked and required of him. But I thought it was a really good performance. St Johnstone are a fucking sorry state. They knew they've really just not replaced the players that they lost at all. But still, the pitch wasn't great. You're losing that many players, I think, to perform in that way and sort of get a 2-goal lead early on. They got their sort of one chance and scored it. Credit to him, it was a good cross and it was a good header. No really much the keeper could have done about it. But then again, Beaton sort of steps up and drills one in. Takes the paint off the post in the way in just about and obviously sort of sees the game out. But even at 2-1, it was again, I didn't really feel threatened too much. As I say, they sort of had one chance the whole game and scored for it, but I wasn't really shiting myself at them scoring or anything like that. I thought we would have had enough sort of experience and know-how where Rogic and McCarthy's and Beaton's Juranovic. I thought they would have sort of seen the game out. They would have been smart enough and wise enough to do that against a poor side. But no, I thought it was a really, really good performance. As I say, there's a lot of players who maybe are not going to be considered sort of first team players, showing you that they can come in when called upon, and they are putting in performances. So all in all, good performance. Buzzing to get this break, and hopefully we'll get some much needed rest in a lot of players' legs, and hopefully when we come back we can all get back into the stadiums, which is ultimately what we're after, because that was fucking chronic watching that with nobody in there.
Aye, definitely. I know some don't want to play in front of fans, but that's sort of, some people adjusted to COVID football a bit better than others. But I can completely agree with you. I know there was a small band of Celtic supporters outside the stadium, but to know it makes the game so much worse to watch. And even Celtic's unique angle clips from the goals yesterday I didn't enjoy them as much because it's just no football. And Ange was bang on to actually go at the Sky Sports reporter who tried to ask him was he happy that the break was brought forward because how many players that were out. And look, nobody's going to hide away from the fact that there's a good chance Celtic will be much stronger when they come back in 3 weeks' time. But 10 clubs out of 12 in the League wanted the break brought forward, so the narrative that it's just to suit Celtic and it's so we get Jota back and Kyogo fully fit and bring in new signings is just pathetic. I think anybody, don't care what team they support, you could support Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen, whoever, if you want to play with no fans in the stadium, then that's just I don't think football's really the sport for you, because it was last season was just terrible, and that's even before it capitulated in front of our eyes last season. But no, just on yesterday, I thought Celtic were very good. As I said, the first half I thought they were excellent. I thought the midfield three, as was mentioned, BU's two, was brilliant. I thought McCarthy really showed that he can still contribute to this team, and that's got to be a good thing, because obviously we gave him quite a long deal, so hopefully that does give him a bit more confidence going forward as well, and gives Ange more options. Beaton, he's done very well to come back from quite a few big mistakes he's made in the last few years at Celtic, obviously, namely at Ibrox and even Michelin this season. Like, he's done well to still be about at Celtic, in my opinion, and I thought he played very well yesterday. He still has the odd lapse of concentration, but I think he's been a very useful player since probably Pataudry, when he was sort of brought in from the cold by Ange. And Tom Rogic, everything that you were looking for on Wednesday night against St Mirren, he seemed to bring to the party on Sunday against St Johnstone. He's just, I know it's a bit early, but when it comes to like player of the year talk, it's Rogic for me. Like in the full country, I think he's been the standalone top quality player, just in terms of how regularly he's doing it as well, has been superb. But I know we had a bit of a discussion in the group chat in regards to how the second half went when we did concede, and I have to say I was on the same side as Tony. It's not that I thought Celtic were in trouble, but I thought the slackness of the goal we conceded was just absolutely terrible. It comes from Carol Starfelt, who I've been a massive defender on this podcast for the last 3-4 months, but it's just absolute stupidity from him, the way he tries to bring it out as if he's got all day, he loses the ball, and then Chris Kane, it's a good header, Barkas has no chance, but it was so avoidable. And before the game, I'd say to you, I just want a routine, boring 2-0 win. And look, Celtic, they respond well, and Tom Rogic plays a lovely pass to Beaton, who finishes superbly. But Tony, what did you make of the defence yesterday? Obviously, it's the first time we've seen Barkas since the first European qualifier, but it was also a sort of one of the first times we've seen a change of shape from Ange, where he played three centre-halves. And the one thing I know everybody's talking about attacking players that we might bring in, but I think what that defence is really missing is somebody who brings it out the same way like Christopher Ajer would, or Virgil van Dijk in years gone by. Like, I don't think any of the three that played there yesterday have got that capability to bring it out from the back, and I ultimately think that's what cost us the goal yesterday.
You know, there has been times where I thought Starfelt actually has kind of glided up the pitch quite well, but I don't know if it's just a lack of concentration or nerves. I don't know what it is. Sometimes he looks really assured, and other times he's like a deer in the headlights. So I don't know. I don't know if Julian, it's been that long since I've seen Julian play. I don't even know if he is able to do it. I don't know. So I'm sure somebody can let me know. But I think another centre half would be fine. I mean, I think Stephen Welsh has still got a bit of developing to do. I thought Barkas was fine, actually. There's absolutely fuck all he could have done about the goal, and his distribution was fine, and he caught the ball a couple of times. It's all kind of bare minimum stuff, but I thought he was okay. I was happy for him. I know he gets a lot of stick. He's became a kind of laughing figure, and I've seen all the jokes yesterday about no surprised they couldn't catch coronavirus, etc. But I was glad he had a good game. I thought as well, as I think you just said there, I thought McCarthy was really good, and I was happy for him. It was an assured performance. Abada, who I was starting to get slightly worried about because I thought his performance levels had dropped and he wasn't really contributing, but it's another 2 goals for him. He's had a great debut season. I think he forgets his age, and I think the fact he started so well is maybe why he's come in for a bit of criticism, because
it's quite incredible, Tony. I've just reading that. I seen this that earlier. That was his 32nd appearance for Celtic, and he's got 10 goals and 8 assists. It's quite an incredible return for a 19-year-old.
It's fantastic, and he's due a lot of credit, and hopefully he can add to that talent. It'll be interesting to see how it ends up come the end of the season. And he's obviously still just developing. Just to touch again on the kind of argument of Celtic wanted the winter break postponed because we've got players injured. I mean, the idea that 10 other clubs have conspired with Celtic is just madness. The reason I want the winter break postponed is because I bought a season ticket And the main cost of the season ticket is the derby games against Rangers. They're great games with full fans. Obviously, we don't have the away section we used to, but there's nothing we can do about that. But if I'm paying for season tickets and I've got a game at home to Hibs and a game at home to Rangers, I fucking want to be there. I don't want to watch it on a stream. So I think it's just been a lot of shite that's just been peddled, as opposed to the simple fact that Sturgeon says that the limit in fans is in for 3 weeks, starting yesterday. The next game would be the 17th of January, which I think would be out with that 3-week period. No guarantee that fans will be back, but give them a chance. It's a common sense decision for the good of the game. The games without football are just shite. I think the atmosphere the Celtic fans have created home and away this season has been exceptional. The unity with Ange and the fans and the team and the fans is a really important part of the club and and where this team is going. So I think for me, it makes sense, and I really hope that they come the 17th, the decision is reversed and or the restriction ends, and then we can get back to full stadiums. And if not, then we need to deal with that. It's certainly not ideal, but I think it's the right decision to give us a chance first. And we probably will be stronger by then. Hopefully, we have players back for injury. The likes of Jota, hopefully Kyo goes fit, Julian maybe, and then hopefully we have our new signings in. But it's no as if it's a conspiracy that Livingston are voting for an early winter break because they want Jota to be fit for a game against Rangers. I mean, I think that's what watching your rivals win 4 trebles in a row, 9 trophies in a row does to you, or 9 titles in a row does to you. Must drive you a bit fucking mental. So I'm glad the break was moved. It makes sense, and I'm really looking forward to the second half of the season. I think we've had a good 6 months under Postecoglou. I've really enjoyed it. The League Cup was fantastic, a great achievement. Even getting into the Europa League, the state the squad was in, and the fact that the club was kind of still tearing itself apart, I thought was an achievement. I think the performances in the Europa League, obviously we conceded the most goals, which isn't ideal, but I think the football we played at times was great. We went toe to toe with some really good teams, and we finished with 3 victories, which isn't to be ignored or forgot the other word. Anyway, and obviously we've got the Conference League. We've got a very winnable tie against Bodo Glimt, who've lost their best players. So it's 6 points in the title race. I mean, it's going to, I've said it countless times, it's going to be a very difficult title to win. Rangers are obviously in good form and there's a long way to go. But for me, if we can keep winning games, if we can strengthen and get squad depth, even if we don't win the title, you've got a really good base getting into the next season. But the aim has to be to win the title. I know back in July we were kind of saying, well, it's not really realistic, but because the team have performed well, it's clear that the players have bought into the manager's philosophy. It has to be the goal for the rest of the season. It needs to be, I mean, this might sound a bit daft, but really the aim for us now is to win the league and the Scottish Cup. There's no real reason why we can't if we're going to spend big money and back the manager. I think we'll need to win all our games, and then when we play Rangers in the 2nd of February, we need to win. If we can do that, then we have a real chance of winning the league. So, no, a really exciting 6 months ahead, and even beyond that period. And I don't know about you, but I have really enjoyed the first 6 months of the Postecoglou era. It's been up and down. It's been emotional. It's just been a kind of whirlwind, a madness for the Eddie Howe deal collapse to where we have now. I don't think I've ever seen the fans so kind of united behind a manager. Even Lennon and Rodgers, when they were kind of so loved at times, there just seems to be a different mentality, which is even above that with Ange. So I hope he is a happy new year.
I think it's quite incredible how much he's turned around, and I think it's the biggest compliment you can pay him is how much like people like me, and I'm quite happy to throw my hands up to it, that probably overreacted against the team when they dropped points at St Mirren last week. I was so upset and disappointed about it because I thought Celtic should have. It's the type of game you need to win. Like, if you look at it in black and white, if we'd took maximum points against St Mirren and took maximum points in both games against Livy, then we'd be top of the league. But I think, like, see if you were to listen to us from like July or whenever we'd done a pre-season preview, like, it was, there's no way we expected to be in a title race, and I don't really think anybody did, apart from probably Ange. And I think that you're seeing one side of the city who seem to be desperate. They're desperate for Ange to get sacked, and they're saying, "Oh, the winter break saved Ange's job." But I think that's purely down to them being embarrassed. I think they're embarrassed at how close we are to them, and they'll keep going on about Lennon's team's like, sort of points total at this point and that. But I think they're completely embarrassed and terrified that we're that close to them and that we've won the first cup competition of the season. Like, as we well know, like, titles only decided in December, but the League Cup was, and we're the ones that have got it in the trophy cabinet. And all we need today is just keep the head down, as Ange says. Don't look at a league table right now. Just keep our head down. We'll focus on ourselves and see where we are come the end of the season. And
can I just come in there?
Aye, and come.
I can just see here that John McGinley from 67 Hale Hales put a tweet out saying the Scotsman is reporting that Celtic midfielder David Turnbull will be out for at least 2 months following his hamstring injury. So that's coming for the Scotsman, that David Turnbull could be out for at least 2 months. I was just going to say that really does mean that January becomes even bigger now, because he has been an important part of Ange's team. I think he's played just about every game, if not every game. So really need to strengthen and get these signings in quickly.
Definitely, that's obviously disappointing to hear. There has been quite a lot of injuries, and obviously that's one that won't be back before then. Before we come back in January. So obviously hope Turnbull is back. I know he's took a lot of criticism on here as well, and from the support generally, but he'll be a big miss to Ange, as you said. Up till St Mirren game, I think he had played every game in the league this season, so that'll be a massive one for Ange to look to replace. But you never know, it might give an opportunity to somebody like James McCarthy, or, as you mentioned, a new signing. If we get somebody in that gives him an opportunity, and then it'll be up to Turnbull when he's back fit to get his place back. But I'm sure that's something he'll relish. It took him a while to get in the team at Celtic to begin with, but aye, that's not the news we wanted to hear. But no, just on how the seasons went. As you mentioned, we've got the European title to look forward to, and it should be something that we relish and look to progress in. I know it's a new competition, and it's below the Europa League and that, so some people won't be interested in it, but you never know where that will lead you to. If you do go quite far in one of these competitions, the experience it will give you, and it'll be important to players we try to sign that we are still in European competition, so hopefully we do well in that. But I'd just give massive credit to where Ange just took us as we look to go into 2021, but 2022 even, sorry. That's how quickly this year's went for me. But Andy, how have you seen how this first 6 months of the Postecoglou reigns went, and what would you look to be achieving in 2022?
I think it's very much in our hands. We can achieve whatever the board allow us to. We've already seen what the manager can do with a squad that's thin at the best of times, never mind when it's COVID hit and injury hit. We've already had success in the league, which none has seen coming. I think that's as was already mentioned, but there was nobody that really envisaged the team with a trophy in the bag, in a title race, still in Europe after Christmas, and then obviously still in the Scottish Cup. If we go out and we back him, it really could be the difference, and I hope we do. I hope we get the business done early and give him the best possible chance of success for 2022. I see no reason why we can't go win the league, why we can't go win the Scottish Cup. The manager just needs backing, and hopefully he gets that. But no, it's I mean, so far it's been brilliant. The League Cup final was it was just brilliant to see that, and it really has sort of brought a lot more people behind the manager again and bought in. And success breeds success. Like you keep that coming and you keep the feeling good about the place, then it's only going to be a good thing. I'm really looking forward to see where Ange can actually take us and take this team. I think we've not even sort of scratched the surface of what he can do with us yet. And as I say, it's the keys really lie with them in the boardroom. They gave him the tools and they will build it, and I think we're already seeing that. But I think, as I say, there's so much more to come. And I really am of the belief that that this January is going to be one of the most important transfer windows in a long time for Celtic. I was thinking back the other day about that time we didn't sign Stephen Fletcher, and I really hope that we don't come out of this transfer window with that and get to the end of the season with the same feeling. We were just that sort of one player away for really making a dent and winning the league. I reckon just give him whatever the fuck he wants and he'll do it.
Aye, definitely. I think Andrew's gained that trust, and although a lot of us would have preferred if Celtic did have some sort of director of football, and but now the fact is we don't. So rather than trust the ones up the stairs who have let us down in the past, then I think it is the time to just trust Ange and see what he does. Tony, I know we're very commonly linked with the 3 Japanese players. It looks like two or three of them will come in. Where else in the squad would you be looking to strengthen in January?
Good question. I think we need another striker. I know there's a lot of debate regarding Maida. Will he play left wing or if he'll play striker? But I think Ayeti isn't going to cut it. The young guy Moffat, I don't think he's really ready yet. Giamakis, I actually think you might actually get something out of him. I think his hold-up play, when he came on a couple of times, was actually quite good. I think that missed penalty really was he gets slaughtered for that, and he had a really bad game against Livingston. But you'd like to see him get another chance. But maybe we should bring back Griffiths for Dundee. No, only joking, by the way, for anybody that thinks that was serious. Maybe another striker. I think we need another goalkeeper because I think Barkas is going to leave. And you still want backup to Joe Hart. I don't think Bain's great, so wouldn't mind another goalkeeper. I think we need another left back. I know Ange likes Greg Taylor, and I thought he was very good in the cup final, but I still think we could be doing with somebody even above that level, or even somebody for competition, because ball and goalie's never going to play. Scales is still got a bit to go. So, for me, right back's probably the most solid position. I know with Alston and Juranovic. Never thought I'd say that about Alston, but hey ho. But we need depth. We need real quality as well. So that would be for me. Maybe another player for the 6th role, but I think one of the Japanese boys would suit that. And then we've got Hate, is that one of them as well? Could probably play next to Rogic while Turnbull's out. So I'd like to see us really spend a good bit of cash here and get some players in the manager wants, and then continue to grow the squad into hopefully a title winning squad. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next kind of couple of weeks brings. The new CEO who's been appointed, Michael Nicholson, probably comes as a surprise to no one that he got the job after we got it on an intern basis. Don't know anything about the guy. This is a big test for him. I'd like to see him.
Is that a coincidence that they appointed him when the fans were? It was like the day after the fans were banned from the stadium of 500.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. That's the Celtic board, which it's sad that the board are still there and it's still the same people, it's still the same major shareholder. I think, as I've said before Ange has managed to protect them with how good he's got things going now in terms of winning the League Cup and the fans united behind them. But, this is an opportunity for Michael Nicholson to hopefully modernise the club and hopefully he can back this manager correctly and we don't see the same old shit. I'd like to see him engage with the fans. I don't mean engage with us, but the likes of the North Curve, the Green Brigade, the Bhoys, Celtic shared, the Celtic trust these fans' organisations. You would like to see him make contact. I thought his handling of the Bernard Higgins situation was absolutely shambolic. So I think they'll probably get away with appointing him without too many major protests because of the fact that they didn't give Higgins the job. But I would like to see him engage, lay out his plans, speak to the fans as a whole, maybe even a statement to say he's delighted to be the CEO and this is his plans for the future. I think that's what you would expect as a kind of bare minimum. But let's end the year on a happy note. Why don't we talk about something else before we finish up?
No, I know. Oh, the fact is, we're in a much better place than we were this time last year. Fans were back in the stadium. Hopefully they will be again in the middle of January. We are going in the right direction. Angie's got the boys playing, he's got the fans believing again. It's about all we could ask for getting into this season. And we'll leave the boardroom stuff for now. I think we will wrap up here because that's us done for a break. I know players have got about a week off and then they'll be off for a training camp. This time it's no in Dubai, thankfully, so we'll not have any similar scenes to Diego Laxalt getting his hair braided by Shane Duffy or the likes. But I'm sure we will be back before we play. It'll either be a wee preview or maybe we'll do a wee transfer special. And hopefully Celtic will deliver us a few signings just as the bells come in this time next week. And hopefully we're not dragging our heels again to 11 o'clock on deadline day like we did with Cameron Carter-Vickers, despite how well he's turned out. But we will be back in a few weeks. Hopefully everybody has a safe and happy Christmas and New Year. We'll still be about on Twitter or that, so just give us a message if you're ever wanting to talk Celtic or that. And we'll be back in the New Year. Thanks for listening. Cheers.